that when a new techno-economic paradigm arrives, this is also a window of opportunity for the overall restructuring of the economy and the institution. There is some difference in emphasis and between Freeman and Perez. Carlotta, whom I love dearly, is a bit far too optimistic for me. She often tends to imply that there are powerful drivers in each crisis that lead to a new setup. I'm not so sure. I think that I don't know what would have happened after the crisis of '29 without World War II. After all, Roosevelt had declared the end of the crisis in '37, and the American economy went down again. And it was only rearmament that brought it up. And certainly, I don't think that anyone around believes that also war are endogenous to the long cycle. Even if I know people that claim that. There are some Russian Kondratiev people that claim that, and are afraid that the war is coming for them. I tend to be more on the pessimistic side because I don't see any causation mechanism from the crisis of an old setup that was working reasonably well in terms of demand generation, innovation, income distribution, to another one that works equally well on the ground of, say, ICT technology. In fact, it is very difficult for me to imagine the same propulsion, for example, to consumption, that came with consumer durable television, cars, etc., that came under the old Fordist setup. I find it difficult to imagine another one based on ICT. After all, how did ICT affect our lives? The mobile telephone, the portable computer, and internet, which has an impact in terms of consumption that is much lower than the fridge, the TV, the car, with all the infrastructure associated with that. So it's difficult to imagine a new setup with a relatively high level of employment under the new technology, and all this made worse by the fact that essentially manufacturing is concentrating in China. With the West, Latin America, all the industrializing, and even Africa becoming a high-wage country, high-wage region. Why? Well, unit labor costs are wages divided by productivity. African wages are, depending on the country, but are, say, 1/5, half of the Chinese one, 1/5. Productivity is 1/20 of the Chinese one. And therefore they are high-wage countries. So they industrialize even before starting industrializing. In these circumstances, I find difficult to imagine what are the engine of world growth. And probably regions have to reinvent their own region like say European Union, Mercosur, to reinvent their own process of reindustrialization, which I think is incompatible with the current rules WTO free. Because I think they require a heavy management also of trade flows and not only financial flows for sure, but also trade flows. This model does not consider other types of innovation. I mean, at this level of abstraction, we don't have organization, so we cannot have organization innovation. One would be important to have product innovation if one would experiment with different dynamic of pattern of demand and structural change. And this we intend to do. This we intend to do because if you have different products, different sectors that entail different basket of consumption, then you want to have product innovation. To go in the direction of both a structuralist model and Pasinetti type model. Do market size affect the rate of innovation? Not directly, because you don't have economies of scale here. But indirectly you could say yes, because the rate of innovation is affected also by the number of firms that serve. So insofar as the market size relates to the number of firms that operate there, then it does influence the rate of innovation. Even if not directly. It's not, you don't apply the Smithian proposition, the division of labor is limited by the size of the market, so you don't have the direct link of increasing returns. Do we want to eliminate the crisis? I think one of the messages of this model is that you cannot, that you can curb them, you can make them milder, you don't eliminate them, because they are an intrinsic characteristics of the dynamics of the system. But there are setups that make them more frequent, more acute and longer, and others that smooth them down. We have a constant number of firms, it is true. This is something that I don't particularly like. We do it for simplicity. In any case, this does not have the fact that some firm die and some other enter, does not have any deflationary effect on the machine tool sector, on the contrary, because it is as if an unmodeled part of the banking system would give the entrant the money to pay for the machines when they enter, because they enter, of course, they don't have any money of their own, so there is like an implicit credit mechanism that allows them to buy the machine. So if anything, they've got an expansionary, the entity has an expansion effect. Because while the machine of the firm that leave are thrown away. Financial innovation. I consider, citing Buffett, financial innovation as a weapon of mass destruction, not any advancement. Innovation is not as such. We should dispel this naive Schumpeterian idea that innovation is good. Innovation might be bad. I mean, the atomic bomb is not so good. Derivatives are not so good. In fact, I would say that most of financial innovation are poisonous, are the invention of poisonous instruments that do not add any value to the economy, but refine the ability of finance to grab a surplus produced elsewhere. So I would like to take out any intrinsic positive connotation to financial innovation. In fact, a priority, I think, should be the slimming down of the international financial system. The 1929 crisis did that through bank failures. Thousands of US bank failures. Now they're paid out with our money. And so there is no slimming down. And in fact, all over the world, they started doing again what they were doing 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I mean, nothing changed. I mean, without any shame. I mean, you have the Wolf of Wall Street. You saw the film. Back on the sea, and nothing absolutely changed. The regulation are stuck. The Frank-Dodd Act that is not as tough as the older Glass-Steagall Act separating proper, clean banking activities from speculative activities is basically stuck. In Europe, we don't even seriously talk about a Glass-Steagall Act of any sort. Even relatively mild things like Tobin tax on financial transaction and for forex transaction. The Europeans are talking every other day about that. The Brits are against, and the continental Europeans say, yeah, yes, we do it, but the day after tomorrow, and it's always the day after tomorrow. And you have an incestuous revolving door between the political administration and finance, that if someone had told me 40 years ago, 30 years ago, I would have said this is vulgar Leninism. I mean, the fact that if you have a CEO or senior economist of Goldman Sachs that becomes the Minister of Treasury, then goes back, and then another one becomes Chief Economic Advisor to the President. 30 years ago, I would have said this might apply to Honduras, but not a complex economy like the United States. Instead, it is that. Instead, is that there is no distance any longer between Goldman Sachs, Wall Street, and the Treasury. And this applies in the States, this applies in Europe, to levels that are beyond the primitive capitalism. I mean, this is really worrying.
Bueno, mil gracias, profesor Dosi. Los invitamos entonces para la conferencia de mañana.